Good morning. Thank God it's Friday. You're welcome to Nigeria Now, showing on your digital first Pan-African news network, where we dissect some newspapers, of course the headlines on the big stories, of course on Nigeria newspapers each day. And this morning we have a couple of big stories. We have Buhari charging security chiefs on terrorism and kidnap. A former president of Nigeria, Obasanjo, talking about state police, and we'll talk about agriculture a little and other headlines this morning. And joining us to analyze some stories this morning is Adebayo Fajimi. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We begin from Leadership Friday newspaper, and the banner headline there, the big story is, "We need state police to tackle security challenges," says Obasanjo. That is on page 4. Two riders. The first, as PMB orders security chiefs to rescue all abducted Nigerians, asks them to sit up. The second, "We won't shift 2023 elections over insecurity," talking about INEC. Now, Adebayo, we've been talking about this issue of state police and how Nigeria has actually fared towards maybe we should, incorporate this into our security architecture or not. And now we have the former president of Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo, saying this is what we need at this moment. What do you think of it?
Yes, I concur, and I want to also, reiterate the fact that we really, really need this, because if you look at the security situations, the security challenges, that you are faced with, that there is no doubt about that. Even in Western world, like the United States, they have state policing. But they call it state troopers, and they are responsible to protect the governor. They are responsible to manage the traffic, everything that has to do with the security, in the state. The only thing they don't have power is that they don't tamper with the county, sheriff. So if we can incorporate that, into our home system, I think it's going to really, really help us very much to ensure that we tackle the security challenges. What we have, you can imagine what happened in Lagos State some months ago. That Magodo issue. That a police personnel had to challenge a sitting governor who is a legal and chief security officer of the state. And in so many instances, if anything happened in our state, a sitting governor has no power, over the security security chief in that state, or except you call, the center, you come to the center to take power.
That's federal government.
And that is very, very horrible. So for how long will you have to come to the center, or you have to wait to the center before you take permission to come and do something, whether in Osun State, in Borno State, whether in Anambra State, or any part of the country? That is very, very not good enough. And some of these police personnel that we have, do they even understand the demography of the state they are protecting, the community they are protecting? But if we have police, state policing, so it's going to be most of these personnel are going to be recruited. Those that will be recruited is going to are going to be people living within the state who understand the demography and who will have a sense of belonging, who will have that allegiance to their immediate community. I think the problem we have is the abuse of power and all of that. That is one of the challenge I think we may have from that very angle, because if a governor of a state, a sitting governor, knows that he has power, he can manipulate them, use them, especially during electoral process. And we have seen that over and over again, even with the current system we are practicing. But at least if we can inculcate this practice into our system to a large extent, it will really, really help us to curb this problem.
Yes, I do like that you raised an issue talking about the abuse of power and everything. But let's take a look at an instance. We do know of the Amotekun, for example, in Southwest, and we've seen how they have fared and thrived for a long time now. Do you think really, if all the states in Nigeria all practice state policing, there will be no issues again?
Of course, there is no perfect system, there is no perfect strategy, no perfect idea. Of course, there will be little defects that be coming out subsequently. But at least when you have a idea that is perfect, that is good enough, at least to restart, you can put it into practice, and whatever defect that is coming. And that takes me to the Amotekun, that you just mentioned. Now it is very effective in Osun, and especially and also in Ondo State. If you know, if you remember the how security challenges in those states are worse the media,
Before they came to power, yeah.
before now, you will know that the situation has improved tremendously, and those people, they are doing fantastic job. You see them everywhere. And for how long have you heard that from Osun or those certain people have been kidnapped? It has reduced to the barest minimum. Okay, so if this can be also replicated, or put into use in other part of the country, I think it will help us in a very long way.
All right. Of course, that big story is also on the Daily Times newspaper. The two rather says to keep Nigeria right is a task for all, and the second backs formation of local government chair body. That is on the Daily Times newspaper. We'll move over to the national economy. The big story is corruption. Nigeria loses 5 trillion naira at port for investors retreat. And then we go straight up to the Nigerian News Direct paper, and the big story is kidnapping and terrorism. Buhari orders security agencies to rescue victims across Nigeria unhurt. The rather says as Boko Haram attacks Yobe, kills 10, set school on fire. What do you make of this charge by the federal, the president of the Federal Capital Territory of Nigeria?
Yeah, it's a very good statement, and that is expected of a leader. But like I have said it over and over, that what we really need is not talk. We need to see much of this action. We want to see what you're made of. We want to see the stuff, the guts, that you're made of. So enough of this rhetoric. So the deal has been done. What's next? So the order has been given, and let's see what is going to be the outcome.
All right, let's see what's going to be the outcome. That's on page 21 of the Nigerian News Direct paper. And then we move over to the Business Day newspaper and the big story. Before we move to the Business Day, of course, Blueprint also talks about Buhari to security chiefs. The two rather says traditional rulers have key roles to play in tackling insecurity. Erufai's comment endangering victims, aiding terrorists. That's coming from the NSA on page 6 of the Blueprint newspaper. And then the Business Day newspaper this morning talking about agriculture. Nigerian rice millers import paddy despite mega pyramids. And CBN says we have sufficient paddy. We know of how the news went around the country talking about the pyramids that we have, and now we're having rice millers importing paddy. And now our CBN says we have sufficient. Do you think this is as a result of our constant need to import, to keep importing and consuming things rather than manufacturing them?
So I think so the federal government said we have enough, but some key stakeholders in this industry said no, we don't have sufficient. So the question is, who do we believe? So, but there's something used to come to my mind anytime anything happens in Nigeria, because we don't have a belief system. And we have that problem because we don't have a leadership that works, a leadership that can be trusted, a leadership that is accountable, a leadership that takes responsibility. And whether the federal government is saying the truth or not, we don't know. But you can see, you will always see the defect and the deficiency, number one, in the economy and in the lives of African Nigerian, and also in the market. Because now, if you told us that, okay, we have sufficiency, and that these people say, no, we still have to, import from neighboring countries to ensure that, we meet the target of the milers. Of course, because if that is true, definitely we are in trouble, because rice is one of the biggest markets now. And this government has told us severally that, see, we have to diversify our economy. Okay, we can't depend solely on oil. We have to diversify, go into rice and all of that. I mean, go into agribusiness, agriculture. But now we are not even doing enough. And now you can see what we have in our budget deficit now. That tells us that we are we are seriously in problem. So I think whatever the case is, the case it is, the government needs to do the needful to ensure that they give enough support to this to the stakeholders in this industry. They should not tell lies. They should give us give us the facts, and they should not, for whatever reason, or for maybe for political expediency, to lie about anything. They should just tell us the way it is, so that everybody will enjoy dividends of democracy. Everybody will be able to access whatever the need is in the market, and everybody will be fine.
Definitely, I agree with you on that one. That's on the Business Day newspaper. And besides that, we see challenges won't stop us from holding elections, INEC vows. And then 4 alternatives to 4 trillion naira petrol subsidy. That is on page 2 of the Business Day. And of course, there are other headlines on these newspapers. Just make sure you stay updated on our website. That is www.tostvnetwork.com. And our social media handle is at TOSTV Network on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter to stay updated, of course, and keep engaged with us so you do not miss out on important updates and news stories. Thank you so much, Adebayo, for joining us today.
You're welcome.
And thank you, viewers. Of course, it's Friday. Go have fun and please stay safe. We'll come your way again on Monday next week. My name is Merciful Ajinowo.